We're looking at this funky little gun in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. So this is the Classic Army, the CA90TR Tactics XT. All those letters and words, it's a really long name. So this is actually a railed out P90. I would actually call it a railed out PS90. If you guys know, there's a civilian version of the P90 and a military version. Military version will stop right here. Boom, done, like the standard P90 that you guys know, where you're gonna grab this little front and you're gonna have this tiny little gun. The civilian version, because that barrel is way too short, gives you a real long extended outer barrel to make it like civilian legal, for actually have a barrel length that will match all the requirements where you don't have to get special tax stamps and is legal in most of the states. So this one is kind of a hybrid of both of those because it does have the full auto feature. This being airsoft, of course, you're gonna get that. But to cover up this longer barrel, you get this crazy rail. Now we're gonna talk about the externals on this gun and what's normal with the P90, what's not normal, and we're gonna work our way through it. All right, so let's start with the back on this one because that's where things are pretty normal. So if you guys are familiar with P90s, you're getting the Classic Army nylon fiber polymer body. It's actually really well made. You guys know Classic Army was probably one of the first companies to go with the nylon fiber bodies way back in the day, and this is no exception. All the way through, familiar P90 controls, comfortable grip, a little place to grab here, and that's where things kind of change when we get to the front. We'll get to that in a second. Moving on to the top here, you actually get a full metal system. So this entire upper area is full metal, unlike some of the early P90s that Classic Army came out with. Magazine does mount right below it. Magazine is a 300 rounder. It pops back with a couple little levers here. You slide it right out and you're good to go. They do make aftermarket, some companies do, of actually mag adapters that'll work with like an M4 mag. It kind of clips in here and you get the M4. This being such a crazy looking gun, I actually think would look pretty darn cool with one of those on. Plus you get the benefit of a huge mag capacity. But if not, no worries, you can always get this. And this is a high cap magazine. I'm gonna show you how this works before we get on. Usually I kind of go into the functionality later. So the high caps on the P90 mags, you have a door at the very bottom, it flips open. You've got this little follower you have to pull all the way down. You dump the BBs in. Then this right here is your winding wheel. It winds all the way up and you gotta crank that sucker till it starts clicking because that wheel goes down in here and locks in. BBs feed all the way from the back. So your inner barrel starts here, and that's where things get crazy because you get such a long gun. We'll talk about how long that is in a second once we finish up with all these little bits and pieces. Moving to the top of the gun, you do get built-in red dot optics, which comes with the gun, which is pretty cool. It is adjustable. It's got a screw point here. Use an Allen key to adjust it there, or a hole here on the side. You can actually move this around to line up your shots. It's also multiple levels of brightness. The switch is hidden up underneath it here, so you can have off, one level brightness, and all the way up to a brighter level of brightness. So you do get the built-in optics, so no need to worry about adding red dots or anything to this at all. Fire selector right here below those red dots is what you'd find on a P90, and if you guys have never picked one of these up, it's kind of neat. You actually have safe, semi, and full, but it's all controlled on both sides, fully ambi, and that's the beautiful part about the P90 platform. It is fully ambidextrous. A simple little rock back and forth will let you see it. It's clearly marked, S is in white, 1 in A for 1 being semi-auto, A being full auto works, and it works in left and right-handed, no problem. And hiding here at the bottom and twisted around where your hand goes is actually the hop-up adjustment. Little tiny door opens up and the metal hop-up wheel is hiding up underneath here. Plastic wheel, metal hop-up, and it's the rotary style, so it's gonna sit put when you set it. All right, now things get different. You guys have seen the normal stuff. That's a normal P90. Moving from here up, things totally change. First, you get this huge rail system. You get a rail on the top, 2 big rails on the side, and a rail on the bottom. Now, all the rails, which is pretty neat, are removable. They're all held in place with little Allen screws. So you got a couple here on the top, a pair on each side, and a pair on the bottom. So you can take all these off if you don't care about using the rail space on this front shroud that hides, pretty much covers up and gives it more of a kind of a futuristic look over the outer barrel. You can still always use the built-in grip on the P90 here, but they do include this little stubby grip that fits right on to give you a little more room to reach out. And I actually kind of like that. There is a little bit extra weight here because you're looking at a full metal upper receiver on a polymer body, so it's lightweight in the back, a little heavy here because of all the optics, and then you add some more weight up front. You would think that would be kind of tough. Once you put that grip right there, it actually is really darn comfortable. Now, because of this shroud, because of all this rail space, if you guys actually are into lasers and all the other stuff, because your optics are covered already built into this, you can add just about anything you want or take off what you don't. They also gave you a nice huge opening here. So if you guys are into modding and having some fun, you can do like a recessed suppressor or something like that to have this really cool suppressed look to really go totally futuristic. Taking this thing out to the chrono, we're gonna see some pretty good numbers. Again, like I said, this thing's got a barrel and it's got the power to match. So you're looking at the high 300s to make that happen. And of course, if you guys wanna tune it and tweak it around, you can have a lot of fun with that. Also, rate of fire is pretty darn healthy too, so no complaints there. So this does kind of fit all the roles. If your field allows, it's gonna allow you to go play indoor if you guys have some higher indoor limits, or if not, no worries, you can tune it down to bring it back. And what's great about that is, right back here in the back, something I didn't cover on the externals, you have a quick change spring that's accessible right there. I mean, one simple Allen key screw, boom, spring comes out, new spring comes in. So it really doesn't matter what the FPS is. You guys can swap this easily. You don't have to have any skill or talent in airsoft hacking. It's right there behind the door. That's also where the battery lives, which I would say is probably one of my concerns in this gun. It's been kind of an issue with P90s since they've came out in the airsoft world, is not much battery space. Now, the good news is, because we are in the era of lipos, you've got enough room to put some buffer tube size lipos right down in here. But if you want to run something a little larger, you can be limited on space. But the good news is, now, unlike the days of old, they have extensions to actually run this butt pad out, so you can run a larger battery in it. But like I said though, if you run the small type, like 1000 milliamps, even 11.1 lipos, they should fit right down in here, no problem. So guys, if you are looking for something that will definitely turn heads, sometimes good, sometimes get you some funny looks on the battlefield, take a look at the Classic Army CA90TR, that stands for Triple Rail, Tactics XT. That's such a long name for such a crazy looking gun. Definitely give it a look, because this is a pretty unique gun with a lot of power and a lot of accuracy to boot. I've got a link down in the description below so you can check it out. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you're not currently a subscriber, click on the logo on the bottom right or in the description and you'll always be in the know. Plus, if you like what you saw in this video and want to learn more, I've got a link down there as well. And if you haven't had your airsoft fix just yet, click on the videos on the right or use the info button at the top of the screen for more. And as the saying goes, everyone has an opinion, and I do want to hear yours. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this video, comment, and share.